Dear students of second BCom, let us now study the first one-act play in your textbook titled A Sunny Morning. This play is set in the capital city of Spain, that is Madrid. The play is written by two brothers called Serafin and Joaquin Alvarez Quintero. There are four characters in the play. They are Donna Laura. Here, Donna stands for Mrs. Petra, her maid, servant, and Don Gonzalo. Don is Mr. Okay? So this is the Spanish equivalent of Mr. Donna is the Spanish equivalent of Mrs. And Juanito, an attendant. It is Juanito because in the Spanish language J is pronounced as ha. So Juanito, an attendant. Scene: a sunny morning in a retired corner of a park in Madrid. Retired corner. Retired is secluded. Okay? Secluded, lonely. Say, a sunny morning in a retired, secluded corner of a park in Madrid. So the play is set in, the act is set in a park situated in the capital city of Madrid. It is the autumn season. In the park, you can see a bench at the right. Mrs. Laura is seen when the curtain rises. She is a beautiful or handsome, white-haired old lady of about 70. So she is an old lady, aged about 70, refined in appearance. Refined means elegant, graceful. She looks very dignified in her appearance. Her bright eyes and the entire manner give evidence that, or show that, or indicate that, even though she is 70 plus, okay, despite her age, old age, her mental faculties are strong, unimpaired, means not weak. Impaired is weak, unimpaired not weak. That means her mental faculties, okay, her mind is very strong, or she has got a very strong willpower even at this age, at the age of 70. She is seen entering, leaning upon, okay, leaning upon the arm of that, taking the help of the maid. Since she is very old, 70 plus, she finds it difficult to walk on her own. So she takes the help of the maid. Petra is her maid. In her free hand carries a parasol. Parasol is an umbrella which serves also as a walking stick. Cane means here a stick. So this is a setting. So when the curtain rises, you see Donna Laura, Mrs. Laura, walking into the park. She is 70, around 70. She looks elegant. Even though she is pretty old, her faculties, mental faculties continue to be strong, but she's physically weak. How do we know that? She leans upon the arm of her maid Petra when she comes into the park, and she is seen carrying an umbrella which serves also as a walking stick. Donna Laura, that's our first dialogue. Donna Laura tells her maid Petra, "I'm so glad to be here. I'm happy that I have come to this park. I'd feared that my seat would be occupied by others who come to the park. What a beautiful morning. I'm so happy my bench is empty. No one has occupied that, so I can go and sit on the bench. I can enjoy my free time or leisurely morning or beautiful morning now. Petra tells her, Ma'am, the sun is hot now. Donna Laura replies saying that, oh, you're very young. That's why you find the morning very hot. For me it is pleasant. I enjoy the beautiful morning, pleasant. It is pleasant. I don't feel it's very hot. You're only 20, that's why you feel that. So she sits down on the bench. Oh, I feel more tired than usual. I don't know why I'm feeling so tired, but the morning, pleasant morning, beautiful morning makes me happy. She notices Petra, who seems to be quite restless, impatient, and tells her, if you wish to chat with your guard. So she understands, Mrs. Laura understands why her servant maid remains impatient. The reason is that she is itching to talk to her guard. So the garden, the park has got a guard, security guard, and the security guard seems to be very close to Petra, and Petra is feeling impatient because Donna Laura is not allowing her to go and talk to him. Finally, she gives her the permission. She says, come on, I know you are impatient, you are restless. Go. If you want to talk to your friend, your guard, please go. Then Petra feels bad. She feels embarrassed. She tells Donna Laura, oh no, the guard is not mine. How can you say that he's my guard? Senora, madam. Okay, senora is the Spanish equivalent of madam, the word madam. He is not mine. He belongs to the park. He is not my guard, madam. He is a guard of the entire park. Donna Laura tells her, I know he belongs more to you than he does to the park. I know that he is very, very close to you. So he belongs more to you than he belongs to the entire park. Go and find him. He must be waiting for you. I know you are restless, you are impatient, you are itching to talk to him. Okay, go find him, but remain within calling distance. Don't go far away. When I need your help, I'll call you and you should be around. You should come to my help, Petra. Oh, I can see him over there waiting for me, madam. I can see the guard waiting for me there. Okay, let me go and talk to him. Mrs. Laura tells him, do not remain more than 10 minutes. Look, I can allow you to talk to him for just 10 minutes. Finish talking to him, take in 10 minutes and come back. I need your help. Petra tells her, very well, ma'am. Then walks towards the right to talk to the guard. Donna Laura calls her back and says, wait a moment. Petra, what does ma'am wish? What do you call me? Then Mrs. Laura says, come on, you have forgotten to give me the bread crumbs. Crumbs are pieces of bread. Give me the bread crumbs. You should have given that to me. You have forgotten. Because you are so much interested in talking to your friend, the guard. So you have forgotten to hand over the crumbs to me. Bread crumbs. Petra feels bad and she tells her, come on, I don't know what's the matter with me. My mind is not working properly. Sorry, I have made a mistake. I should have handed over the breadcrumbs to you. Mrs. Laura smiling because she knows why Petra is absent-minded. I do understand. Your head is where your heart is. That means you are in a romantic world now. Your head is not working. Your heart is active. That means you are in a romantic mood. So when you are in a romantic mood, it's natural that you forget your duties. You forget to hand over the crumbs to me. Go and talk to him. Your head is where your heart is, that is with the God. I know your head is not working properly. Your heart is with the God, or your head is also with the God. That's why you have forgotten to do your duty. Petra, sorry ma'am, she just says, okay, Signora. She hands over the breadcrumbs to Mrs. Laura. She hands Donna Laura a small bag containing breadcrumbs, and she goes exit Petra by the right. Now, Mrs. Laura says, adieu. Adieu means goodbye. Glances towards the trees at the right. It's a park. She looks at the trees there. Oh, here they come. She says, oh, as soon as I sit down here, I can see them coming. Who are they? They know just when to expect me. They know when exactly. They are very careful. They are very attentive. They know when I come to the park. She gets up, walks towards the right, and throws 3 handfuls of breadcrumbs. So she has got a bag containing breadcrumbs. So when she sees them coming, she takes 3 handfuls of breadcrumbs and throws them to these. Who are they? We'll come to know. And she says, these are the spryest. Spryest here, most active and energetic. These are the spryest. These for the gluttons. So there are 3 kinds of people here, or whatever, or creatures. Number 1, the most active, spryest, the most energetic. Then there are some gluttons. Gluttons means people who eat a lot. Bakasura. So some are spry, then some are gluttons, and these 4, the third category, these are for the little ones which are highly determined, persistent, hatamari. So there are 3 kinds of creatures or people. Number 1, spryest, the most active. Second one, gluttons who eat everything. Then the last one, those who remain determined or persistent. They refuse to go away even if I give them everything. Seeing them, she laughs. She returns to her seat and watches with a happy expression. Please express happy expression. And the pigeons feeding. So who are these creatures or persons? These are not persons, or these are not people. She is referring to the pigeons. So why does she carry the breadcrumbs here? Not to give it to poor people or anyone else or those people who come to the park. She feeds the pigeons with the breadcrumbs. So go back to the beginning of the dialogue. Donna Laura adios, goodbye. She bids goodbye to Petra, then glances towards the trees at the right and says, here they come. Who are they now? Pigeons. And she says, the pigeons, they know just when to expect me. They know when exactly I reach the park. So they'll be waiting for me every day. So who are they here? Pigeons. She rises, walks towards the right, and throws 3 handfuls of bread crumbs. So what does she carry in her bag? Not loaves of bread, but bread crumbs, pieces of bread. You know, pieces of bread can be given only to birds. These are for the spryest. So she finds 3 types of pigeons here. Number 1, those who are very spry, the spryest, the most energetic. Next one, the gluttons. Gluttons eat a lot. And the next one, for those who are very, very persistent, the birds who are very, very determined Hatamari Hakigulu. Pigeons. Laughs. She returns to her seat and watches with a happy expression. So what she watches? She watches the pigeons eating the breadcrumbs. Looking at them, she says, "Oh, the big one is always a first to come. The big pigeon is the first to come always. I know him very well because he has got a big head. So looking at his big head, I know that he's a first pigeon that comes to me every day to eat the breadcrumbs. Now one. Oh, now there are two. Now there are three. So one after another, the pigeons keep coming to her to eat the breadcrumbs. The little fellow is the least timid, not at all timid. Timid means shy or frightened or very courageous. Even though that pigeon, little fellow, he's a little fellow, he's very young, he is not afraid of anybody. He is not shy, he is very confident, very courageous, and he comes to me without any hesitation. I believe he would eat from my hand. Oh, that fellow seems to be the young fellow, the little fellow, seems to be very, very confident. I know he'll come and eat from my hand. That one takes his piece and flies up to a branch. Then he takes it from my hand, takes a bread piece from my hand, and what does he do later? He flies up to the branch alone. He goes and sits on the branch of a tree alone. He doesn't mingle with others, mix with others. He takes his food and goes and sits on a branch. So what does it show? That shows that he is not like a normal pigeon. He is not like others. He is a philosopher who tries to keep himself away from the common people. So there is a philosopher among the, very humorously, Donna says, there is a philosopher among the pigeons. Why does she call him a philosopher? Because he does not easily mix with others. He takes his food and goes and sits on a branch alone without talking to anybody, or he remains in his philosophical world or dream world. But where do they all come from? Donna expresses her doubt. From where do these pigeons come? It seems as if the news has spread. Come on. The pigeons must have got the news that, oh, Donna Laura is on the way. So they must have heard about my arrival here. That's why the moment I come and sit on the bench, everybody comes. Ha, come on, don't quarrel. So she asks the pigeons not to quarrel among themselves. There is enough for every pigeon. So don't quarrel among yourselves. I'll give food to everybody. I'll bring more tomorrow. Okay, don't worry. Don't feel bad if you don't get enough. Tomorrow again, I'll carry breadcrumbs. At this time, while she is talking to the birds, you can see Mr. Gonzalo. Don is a Mr. Donna, Mrs. Don, Mr. You can see a man called Gonzalo along with Juanito, his servant. Now, Donna Laura has got a servant. She's Petra. Similarly here, Mr. Gonzalo has got a servant. His name is Juanito. From the left, he enters along with his servant. Mr. Gonzalo is an old gentleman of the same age, 70. Laura is 70, so he is Gonzalo. And he's gouty. Gouty means, gout is a disease. Okay, gouty is a person who suffers from the inflammation of the joints, Sandhi Vata, as you would say in Kannada. Gouty, he's suffering from gout, so he's called gouty, and he's impatient, very restless. He leans upon, just like Laura, this man leans upon Juanito's arm. So you have seen how Laura comes in. Laura comes in leaning on Petra's arm. Similarly, Gonzalo is seen leaning upon Juanito's arm and drags his feet. Oh, he walks with so much of difficulty, so he's in dragging his feet because he's suffering from gout. He drags his feet somewhat as he walks. That shows that he has got intense pain in his joints. That's why he finds it difficult to walk. Mr. Gonzalo tells his servant, "Oh, come on, idling their time away. See, look at the people here. There are so many in the park. They're all idling. Idling means wasting their time away. They should be saying Mass. Look at those people. Instead of going to church and saying their Mass, they are seated in the park." So he gets angry with some people who are seated in the park. He says instead of wasting their time in the park, they should be saying Mass in the church. Who are they? Yeah, we'll know later. Juanito tells Gonzalo, "Sir, Sino." Sir, Sino is the equivalent of sir. "You can sit here, Sino. There is only one lady." Now, Juanito points to him the bench on which Laura is seated, and she tells him, "Other benches in the park are occupied. There are so many people. So, on this bench, in the secluded corner of the park, there is only one lady." So he asks Mr. Gonzalo to be seated there. There is only a lady. Donna Laura turns her head and listens. Mrs. Laura hears what Juanito says and she doesn't like it. Mr. Gonzalo, "Oh, come on, I won't." Juanito, "I want a bench to myself." Gonzalo says, "I don't want to share the bench with someone else. I want an empty bench. I want a bench for myself." Juanito says, "Sir, there is no one. Every bench is occupied. On some benches, 3 or 4 are seated. But this bench is better because only one lady is seated." Gonzalo, "The one over there is mine." So he tells him, he points his finger at a bench and tells Juanito, look, that is a bench which belongs to me." Now, how can the bench belong to him? What he means to say is that whenever or every day, when he comes to the park, he sits on one particular bench. So he is going towards that bench. Juanito, "Sir, there are 3 priests sitting there." Now, on that bench, which belongs to Gonzalo, they find 3 priests seated. So when Gonzalo made the statement, idling their time away, they should be saying Mass, he was actually referring to the priests. So what Gonzalo tried to say was that the priests have no business in the park. They should be in the church saying Mass. Gonzalo, "Rout them." So when Juanito tells him there are 3 priests sitting there, Gonzalo asks him to rout them out, chase them out, drive them out. Have they gone? They are still sitting. Why are not they in church? They should be in church saying Mass. But Juanito tells him, "No, they are still there. The bench is occupied. 3 priests are sitting there on your bench. They are still talking. They are not in a mood to get up and go." Gonzalo, just as if they were glued to the seat. "Oh, I hate them," Mr. Gonzalo says. They are sitting on the bench as if they are glued. They are stuck. They are stuck to the seat. So if you are glued to some, glue is actually gum. If you are glued to something, then you can't get up and go. Just as if they are glued, stuck to the seat. No hope of their leaving. Come this way, Juanito. They walk towards the bird's right. So Don Gonzalo, seeing that his bench is occupied, he moves towards the right in search of an empty bench. So where does he, in which direction does he go? He's seen walking towards the place where Laura is seated, because you can see the birds say. Donna Laura gets angry and she shouts at Mr. Gonzalo saying, "Be careful, look out, be vigilant, you are driving away my birds." So when the birds see Mr. Gonzalo walking towards the bench, they feel disturbed, they feel frightened, they fly away, which is not appreciated by Laura. So Laura gets angry with this old man and she shouts at him indignantly, angrily. She shouts at him by saying that, "Come on, be vigilant, don't frighten my birds." Mr. Gonzalo, "Are you speaking to me, Senora?" He gets angry. He too gets angry with Laura for shouting at him. And he asks her, "Are you talking to me, ma'am?" "Yes, I'm talking to you. What do you want?" "You have scared, frightened my birds who are feeding on my crumbs." So Laura says, "What have you done?" "You have frightened, scared away the birds who are sitting and eating the breadcrumbs which I have given them." Gonzalo says, "Who cares for your bird? Why should I care for the birds?" "Laura, you may not care for the birds, but I love. They are my birds." Gonzalo tells her, "This is a public park. Everybody has got the right to come here. You have no right to order me to keep quiet. You can't give me any instructions because it doesn't belong to you. This is a public place." Laura, "Then why do you complain that the priests have taken your bench?" Laura had heard Mr. Gonzalo saying that the bench on which the priests are seated belongs to him. You know, it's a public park, isn't it? How can one bench belong to either Gonzalo or Laura? So she's paying back in the same coin by saying that, "Oh, you say that you have got a bench reserved for you. One bench belongs to you. So in the same way, I can say that this bench belongs to me and these birds who come here also belong to me. Why do you complain that the priests have taken your bench? It is a public park." Gonzalo, "Madam, be careful. We have never met before. This is the first time we have met. I don't know, I cannot imagine why you take the liberty of talking to me. We are strangers. I don't know who you are. You don't know who I am. And why do you take the liberty of talking to me? Give me directions, instructions." He tells his servant, "Come, Juanito, will go." So both go out by their right after getting angry with, after shouting at, after quarreling with Mrs. Laura. Mrs. Laura, "What an ill-natured old man. Look at this old man. He's ill-natured, bad-tempered, no manners. Why should people get so fussy and cross, irritable, ill-natured, bad-tempered?" Said Laura is wondering why people get so, fussy, angry, irritable when they reach a certain age. So when she says this, she forgets the fact that she is also 70 plus. Looking at Gonzalo, who is an elderly man, she's wondering, these people, when they reach a certain age, maybe 70 or 60, they become fussy about everything. They get easily furious. Okay? They make a fuss about even small things. Looking towards the right, I'm happy he has lost that bench. So here she says, I'm very happy that the old man cannot find any empty bench in the park. He came to sit on the bench on which the lady is seated, but there was a quarrel, so he goes away, and his bench is taken over by the priest. So he goes around looking for an empty bench and he doesn't find any. So when she sees him still searching for an empty bench, she feels happy and she says, I'm happy that he hasn't found any empty bench. Serves him right for scaring the birds. That's a punishment that he has got. Serves him right. That serves him right for scaring the birds. He has got the right punishment for the crime, the mistake that he has committed. What's the crime? He has frightened my birds. He has driven my birds away, and God has given him punishment. What's the punishment? He hasn't got any empty bench to be seated. Oh, I know he's angry, he's furious. Yes, yes, find a seat if you can, poor man. So she tells him, oh, look at this man coming back, going around. Find a seat if you can. I don't think anybody will give you a seat. He's wiping the perspiration from his face. He is angry, he is impatient, and he is tired, plus he is sweating. So he's wiping the perspiration, sweat, bevaru, sweat. She can see him wiping the sweat from his face. That shows walking around, he feels tired. He comes, carriage wouldn't raise more dust than his feet. Once again, the old man, comes in the direction of the lady, comes towards the bench on which the lady is sitting. Looking at him, she says that even if a bandi, cart comes, that wouldn't raise as much dust as this man is raising. So what does it mean? When this old man walks with so much of difficulty, as he suffers from gout, he raises so much of dust. How does he walk? He walks dragging his feet. Naturally, when he walks, dust gets raised. He raises a lot of dust, and she says to herself, the man can't hear what she's saying. She says, oh, look at this man, look at the way he's walking. When he walks, so much of dust comes up. Even if a horse carriage comes, that wouldn't raise so much of dust. The man is raising more dust than a carriage would do. So once again, he comes towards her, and Mr. Gonzalo and Juanito by the right, and walk towards the left. Juanito. No, indeed, no, they are still there. So he comes towards a bench on which the priests are seated. Juanito tells him, come on, you can't sit there because the bench is still occupied by the priests.